You know what it is, Hot 97, your boy Hip Hop Mike in the building with a special guest. You already know that we got Who's Next booming, by the way, every month. August is looking crazy. September, listen, what TT Torres is planning for September, just wait on it. But right now, I have an artist in the building who is certainly up next and been making his rounds, doing a lot of promo, a lot of press. Marlon Craft is in the building.
My man. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
All day, my brother. So first time at Hot 97.
Yeah.
From New York.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Yo, this feels fire, bro. I've been growing up listening to Hot 97 like on the yellow school bus, like, you know what I'm saying, like on the fucking Walkman, like that was. Can I curse?
Yeah, of course. You good?
On the fucking Walkman, bro, like with the little dial switching back and forth. Then like whenever the shit go to commercial, I switch when I come back. So like listening to like Angie and everybody since I was a little kid. So I'm here, bro. Like this is cool as shit.
Nah, it's a classic. Like I know every time I come in the building, I'm like, damn, I really work at Hot 97. This is crazy.
Yeah, bro, it's trippy. It really is trippy. Like all these spaces like that I'm starting to walk into and like places where I'm starting to see my name. It's like I'm really a fan and like a student of the game. So I grew up. I'm just like, where? It's crazy.
What was it like meeting Sway?
Bro, crazy. I mean, I met him like a year ago when I did like the cypher.
Okay.
And then and that went well and everything, but it was just crazy this time because as soon as I like entered the room, they were like off the air and everything, and he was just like, yo, he pulled me over, started talking about the album, like, yo, you did an amazing job with the sound of it, and like going into like mad specifics, so I really know he like listened to the shit, and he was like talking about the live instruments and the different things, and I'm like, bro, this is Sway. And he was just showing me so much love that day, like on and off the air, and just stamping me. And like I was telling him, like, you know, like when I look at people that I look up to, like I don't just look at rappers, like I look at men. So I look at people that are like doing what they love to do, that are contributing to the culture, and that are like providing for their families and doing that at the same time. So I look up to people like Sway. So I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah, nah, it's same here, man. Honestly, like Sway told me once, just be a fan, and it's always everything works out. And it's like I've always seen him stay true to that. So for sure, being a fan of your stuff, it means a lot from somebody like that to give you the stamp. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to take him back a little bit though.
Word.
Where originally in New York are you from?
I'm from Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you grew up in the city.
Yeah, and I'm not too far from here. I'm from Hell's Kitchen. It's like the 40s on the west side and shit. Yeah.
See, a lot of kids that come out of New York, they'll be from Brooklyn, Queens. It's very rare that I meet somebody who's from the city.
Yeah.
Being from the city, I know influence could come from anywhere. I mean, we literally have every culture in the world here.
Yeah.
And in Hell's Kitchen specifically, you right in the heart of town. Like, you really in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Where did you start going that got you into music, and like what really made you gravitate to it?
So I mean, just growing up like on my block, just at like the basketball court and just at the playground, like just I wanted to be cool like the older kids, and it was just hip hop was just the soundtrack, like, you know, to the city always, and especially like basketball and hip hop went hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a ball player, and then I started playing with Riverside Church when I was 11 up in Harlem, and then I was running around from like 11 to like 16, running around in the summers of Harlem in the South Bronx, like just, you know, playing ball, and it was just hip hop was like in the car on the way there. Like I got put on to so much shit just from like riding in the back of my coach's car, like going from game to game and being like, it would be like Old J and shit like that. And I would be like shit like that no one was handing me at the time. And I was just like, what is this shit? Like, I gotta go look this, go LimeWire this shit when I get back to the crib. So it was like shit like that. So yeah, it was just running around Harlem a lot, and then, but just my neighborhood too. And I feel like just the soundtrack of the city. That's hip hop was the universal language. Like I was in different spaces. I'll go to school with like, you know, white kids from the Upper West Side, and then I would go play ball in Harlem, do it. But everybody spoke hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So it was like.
No, that's awesome. And then you take hip hop, and it kind of helps you bridge that gap between like being up in Harlem or being on the Upper East Side, which is like so close to each other, but two completely different worlds.
Yeah.
When did you start making music? Because it sounds like you started out just as a fan and, you know, listening to Walkman, things like that. But at what point did you start writing or going to a studio?
Yeah, it was like, so I started like, I was always a writer. I was really good at like poems and shit. I would always do like, my cheat code for like family birthdays was like I would like write people poems, and that way I didn't have to buy shit, and then they would always be mad touched, and it was just like finesse. But like I just was like a writer, so I would get like real stressed and anxious and be just dealing with shit as like a preteen teenager, and just be writing like, you know, like during when I couldn't fall asleep and shit. So I would just write acapellas. And then I started trying to rap a little bit in high school and whatever, but it was only with a few homies, because you know everybody growing up in the city tried to rap, and I didn't want to be like another kid just trying to rap, like, you know what I mean, unless I was like dumb nice and I was committed to doing it. And then I always kind of knew in the back of my head I really wanted to do it. I got like a Best Buy gift card in like my senior year of high school, and I like went and bought a USB mic, and I was like, let me start fucking around. Then when I got to college is when I got really like, I was just depressed and stressed, and I was like, just kept turning to making music to like help me deal with all that shit. And then that's when I was just like, this is what I gotta do, you know?
That's dope that you bought the USB mic and almost started on your own, because a lot of people don't even take the time to learn the programs to be able to do vocals and add the beats, and really, because it's a lot that goes into those systems. I don't even know how to use a lot of them.
Yeah, this was my first, the Tunnel's End was my, sorry, not Tunnel's End was my project 2 years ago before Funhouse Mirror. But Funhouse Mirror was the first project that I did that I didn't record by myself in my room. So like up until this year, I've done sold out shows in New York playing only music that I recorded in my room, like, you know what I'm saying? So I just never been the type to like wait for things, and I've always been the type to like be like, let me just figure out how I can do this. So yeah, I would just be in my room like trial and error on like GarageBand and shit, and, like doing my own mixes and like trying to figure it out.
You got to be a wizard to use GarageBand too, by the way. Like,
bro,
I know GarageBand is the toughest one and it's supposed to be the simplest, but it's like to get the sound right on there is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I never really did. I use Logic and stuff, but my first few things I like mix and mastered myself, because it was always just like means to an end, man. I didn't have the money to pay for it, and I didn't really even know who to give it to if I did. So it was just like, let me just figure this out. But I think what's cool about that is it helps you. Like I edited some of my first videos with the homies. Like I shot some of them. I like did some of my first mixes. So now like when I get with a like professional director, or now when I get with a professional engineer, I like speak the language a little bit, like enough to like be really engaged and involved and know what I want, know how to communicate it. So I try to do like all these things by myself first, and not with like, oh, I'm gonna do it by myself forever, but you know what I mean?
But not like you said, I think it's good that you could sit there with an engineer and probably be like, drop the beat here or add this or punch in, and actually be able to understand the system. I think is a big benefit for an artist, and not a lot of people know how to.
Yeah, and I'm getting there with music too. Like, so there's a lot of live instrumentation on Funhouse Mirror, and now I'm like trying to learn the music language.
Okay.
But I'll say wrong things every once in a while. My musician homies will like, I can see that like they don't be wanting to like sun me because it'd be my session, but I can see like some wrong shit. Like, you know, I'd be trying to sound smart. I'd be like, yo, do this on the downbeat of the blah, blah. And they'd be like, alright.
Nah, but listen, if you making it make sense, it's hitting for sure.
Yeah, well, that's what I'll be trying to describe to them. I'll be like, and that's why they love it, because a lot of dudes that I play with, like, they went to like Berkeley and they like have done music traditionally like a lot. So I'm always like, bro, I need this shit to sound like you fucking like stressed out and you on your way up, but you just can't get over this and da. And they're like, dope, because their whole time everyone's always just telling them like it's a C major and then it's a bit like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very technical terms.
Yeah. So I'm just like, bro, make this shit sound like, you know what I mean? You got to take a shit. Like, you know, and they're like, all right, bet, like, fire.
Nah, but it's a language for real, and it's good that you have that rapport with people, because then as you develop, you know, they gonna start talking to you like, oh, this is gonna be brighter, this got to be darker, this got to be X, Y, Z.
Right.
The biggest difference, what do you think it is, aside from the live instrumentation, from Tunnel's End to Funhouse Mirror, what do you think evolved the most as far as you being an artist?
I think, yeah, definitely like the musicality, and then I think like my voice. Like I think there was a lot of I've been trying to like say more with less words a lot. You know what I mean? So like just say things that are more impactful in a way that they're gonna hit and resonate, and they're always gonna be like, it's always gonna be like lyrical, and like there's always layers of wordplay for like the people that give a shit, that want to like like, you know, people like me and you probably.
Yeah,
that,
the
like,
Instagram captions.
Yeah, you know, but like I like more important than that, I think, is like resonating with people, is like those lines that make you go like and or those, or like encapsulating an idea into a song, like, you know, like I don't know, just like like a song, like I have a song called Dribbling, and it's about like wafting, bouncing back and forth, not committing to like moving forward. And so it's like I've been dribbling. It's like things like that, like concepts like that make things palatable, where I have these like complex feelings and struggles that I'm trying to like get you to understand, and then finding a way that we could all understand them. Like that's where I've grown. Whereas Tunnel Zen was more like, you know, if you're really listening, you're gonna get all of it. But if you're not, you know, I feel like everybody can get something out of Funhouse Mirror. The casual listener, the like overdrive listener, like everybody could get something out of it, you know.
Do you think a lot while you're creating music of how people are going to receive it, or do you just create what you want to create and then piece it together kind of as time goes on?
That's a good question. Both probably is the real answer. I think though it always starts with just being like, I gotta do what I feel, you know what I mean? And I think you get in the way of yourself when you're like, this, because it's really easy to fall in that trap. Like you might hear a beat and it might like move you, but then you start to think like, but what am I gonna do with it? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like you can't get into that place. My thing is like, I got mad songs just sitting on my computer. Like I'd rather just make the shit as like an artistic exercise. If I don't use it, I don't use it. Like I figure out later like what I'm trying to say and what I need people to hear and like whatever. But I do think it's like there's two people in this. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I do for my fans by doing for me. Like if I stop being true to myself, like that's why they rock with me. So it has to be me first. But there's two people participating. It's like the listener and me. So I do think about it, like what they will think. You know?
Yeah, nah, the genuine energy though, I think like you said, like if your engineer is even feeling a type of way, you hear it on the record. Same for the artist. It's like if you talking about something that's really in the moment, it's got to be easier to put together than, you know, reaching for stuff.
Yeah.
Being an artist that is conscious in their music, because a lot of artists now I notice they have like 1.5, 2-minute songs. They just rap straight through. It's very like vocal over beat, not even like maybe ad libs, but that's the extent.
Yeah.
To create a project that like Funhouse Mirror is like has the instrumentation, has real conscious lyrics in it. Does it take you longer to work on individual songs, or are they, you know, something that you maybe cut 20 minutes and it's just they sauce it up on the production?
Nah, this shit took a long time, man. Like we, you know, because songs like start as something, but then it would be like we would add this instrumentation. So we would just have like these bare bones, and then I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna record this verse, whatever. But then I'm be like, I hear some sax on this, so when Alex comes in, like I'm gonna get him to play. And then what it is too with the musicians is I did all the alongside the musicians and the engineers, but I did all of the comping, like the editing. So like musicians come in and we don't have time to be like, we're not like, yo, play these 3 things. It's like I'll be like, yo, go. But then after they go, now we got this big session with all this shit, and we gotta like, we might pick like 1 sax line out of this whole 4-take 3 minutes every take.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So now we sifting through it and going through all this shit. So like it took a long time. Like most of the ideas for the songs, like the bare bones of it was formulated pretty quickly and early on, but then it was just like polishing everything to where it's where it ended up, you know?
And you're hands-on with this throughout A through Z. Everything that people hear, you've at least touched or heard in your own right and tweaked a little bit.
There's nothing besides mixing that I wasn't in the room for the entire time. And the mixing, you could ask Dula, shout out to Dula in LA, ask him about how hands-on I was.
Just calling him every day like, what's up with this, what's up, fix
bro,
that.
Listen, man, ask him, man. We was just texting back, and he's in Atlanta, but we were texting back and forth. Thank God he was in Atlanta, because the way I am, if I was there over his shoulder the whole time, bro, you know what I mean? Like, so he would send me it, and then I would take a bunch of notes, send it back, more notes, take him, send it back. Call my pops in, yo, listen to this shit, send it back. So I like, that's one of the reasons I feel so much pride and I care like so much about it, is because like I'm on every single, like I just, yeah. And that's not to take away like it takes a village, you know, like all these amazing people and musicians contributed their art to it, but it was like, you know, I had my fingerprints on everything.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your face is there, like that's you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying Marlon Craft. So like I could never understand that. Like I could never understand. I mean, maybe it's like someone you trust and it's like you send something out like, yo, play some stuff on this, and then they send it back. Like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I can't understand like you doing some shit and then like you just lay your verse, and then like they like do a bunch of shit to it. You're not there, and they play it for you. Like, which version you like? Like, I don't know. If that shit, I don't know. I just don't view. And I don't know, not to be judgy about it, but this shit to me is like my art, bro. Like, this is my shit. So, you know.
Nah, and I respect your dedication to it, man. Like, I forget where we first met, but we was at a party or something, and you know, a mutual friend put me on to you and was like, "Yo, you got to check out this kid."
Yeah.
And the music off rip sounded different, and I don't want to say different, like, in the way of like it doesn't fit, because I think it does fit, and I think you did a great job of balancing it.
Yeah.
But different in the sense of just like you taking the time to focus on those little details that I think put it in a different realm of a lot of the things that people are just kind of force fed these days.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Like, I was just talking about it. It's crazy because the shit came out like on June 18th, so it's been like a month and a half. And I was looking at that like an hour ago, and I was like, "Yo, this shit is crazy," because it feels like this shit came out yesterday. Like and just in terms of the conversation, you know, like the different interviews that are dropping, different publications, different moments with Sway, different things, but it feels like it just the momentum's building and growing. And in this era, like I keep watching, like not to subtle flex on the world, but like I keep watching dudes like albums drop. And then them shits be everywhere for like a few days, and then it's like phew.
Gone.
And so I take a lot of pride in the fact that like this conversation is evolving a month and a half later. It's bigger than it ever was, and we just got a lot of more shit coming, and it's getting bigger. And I think it's a reflection of how long I spent on the nuances of the shit that like makes it something that can unfold and you could grow with. So
yeah, and me personally, I was just having a conversation with an artist I work with about this yesterday. I think it's always better to be the artist that has the following that maybe isn't the 1 million followers, but rather the 50,000 that are just super dedicated.
Hell yeah, bro.
Because like you say, that's where you get the growth from. It's not just like a boom, and then the second something else booms, it's like they're distracted again.
Yeah, bro. It's all, and also like it's all about tickets, man. Like, can you sell tickets? That's really like,
thanks.
Because that's the biggest indicator of like, will people take their time out of their day, like pay money to come out physically in this day and age where we don't do anything physically. Like, we just stimulate ourselves on here, get out and want to come see you. Like, cause there's so many people with millions and millions of followers, and like
nobody comes to see them.
Anybody out, bro. So I'm like, and then also just in terms of the way that the industry is set up, like, you know, I think like the most longevity you're gonna have, it just makes it's most practical to try to be a touring artist, like a hard ticket artist. So like that's my goal, like, you know, because even streams are important too, but like them shits are getting juiced all types of which ways.
Yeah, it's
bro.
crazy. The streaming situation is a whole nother.
Bro, like people have a bajillion streams too, and you go to shows and there be 10 people. Like and you know. And the other thing, I mean, even if it's 10 people, bro, but if it's like, if you have 10 people at your show and they know every fucking word, like, you doing something, keep going.
Facts.
You know, like, if you have 10 people at your show because they thought it was going to be clouded up and they're disappointed, then, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just think it's always better to go for quality over quantity, because when you eventually get to quantity, now you've got quantity of quality.
Yeah.
Now you're unstoppable, and you're going.
That's where the longevity comes from.
Exactly.
You know what's crazy is I read yesterday, this is completely sidetracked, but with the streaming, you know it takes 1.5 billion streams to get platinum?
Bro, this shit
it's insane.
Crazy. Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. The streaming, when you look at like the streaming numbers of like what they give you, it's weird, bro. Also, like, a lot of fans buy my, like, relatively for where I'm at, like, a lot of fans buy my album. Like, when Funhouse Mirror dropped, it was the #1 hip-hop album on iTunes in the country because my fans buy.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, like, then it's like when they buy, it doesn't stream because they bought it.
Yeah,
so
it's like 1/16 of a stream.
So then it's like, bro, this shit is so foo-foo. I'm just like, I'm ready to just, like, whatever, bro.
I think you're doing the right thing, just focusing on making great shit and letting the people speak for like themselves. Like, honestly, if you, like you said, selling tickets is undeniable, and no matter what streams or anything else looks like, if people are coming out and you putting asses in seats, you're doing something right.
And just like making, you know, it's funny because like we look at all these metrics of like shit so that we can avoid talking about like having an opinion about art that's our own. Like, if you look at what's the first week sales, what's the, like, you know, even tickets, like even though it's still a metric, but it's like, did you like the album? Was the album different than everything what's going on? Like, did the album move you?
That's a good point. Yeah, I haven't heard any or seen many platforms where people could like freely give their opinion outside of like the YouTube reviews and things like that. It's very hard unless you're going through like hundreds of comments, and then it's like Yelp where it's like nobody's in the comments unless they hate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people don't go to Yelp and it's like, I love the dinner I had tonight. They're like, nah, fuck that place.
Bro, that's mad true. Whenever I get like my freestyles get posted somewhere, not actually now, not so much recently, because like I feel like, but like it'll always be like mad hater comments, but then I'll get like 5,000 new fans that are now like diehard because they don't comment. They just come and start buying tickets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that shit, I just think like people need to make opinions about music. Like, listen to the music, make an opinion. Like, don't let the streams, and I mean, there's so much chatter, but it's like, let's say, like, can you imagine being somebody that like really fucked with the Chance the Rapper album last week? Like, you're listening to it and then you're going on your Twitter and everyone's
hating it.
And then you're like, wait, what? Am I like da-da-da? And it's like, bro, maybe this shit resonating with you, bro. Like, everybody chill out, take 2 weeks and figure out if you like the shit or not. Like,
Facts.
you know what I mean? Like,
you know what's crazy too with the Chance project? He had DaBaby on there. He got Made in Tokyo on there. Like, Hot Shower is fucking crazy. Like, there's so many gems on there that I don't think people are like, they're DaBaby fans, but they're not giving Chance a shot just because it's different for him.
Yeah.
But I think that project is slapping through and through. I don't give a fuck who hates in these comments.
I respect you, bro. And I just think like, I mean, I dig some project. I haven't listened to it long enough to really like give a whole dissertation on it, but I dig it. I think what more about it is, to me, is this classic like build you up to break you down type of shit. Like, y'all are okay with people making the same whack ass songs every time, promoting mad negative shit, but then like, and like y'all are quiet because if you spoke that was whack, you'd be hating. But then like Chance make an album and then like
it's easy to hate on Chance.
I don't get it. Like, and I'm not on like, I don't know, I'm not on some like righteous crusade. This is a lot of shit that I don't understand. I'm just trying to encourage people to like really like be thoughtful about why you don't like music. But the problem is that we don't view music as art. We view it as a commodity.
Facts.
Like
well
a
said.
Sneaker or some shit that it's like, so you're looking at everybody else's things as like, bro, do we really like are people really like qualified to like assess whether or not like Jordan brand sneaker design is like is like peak high art sneaker design? Like, no, bro, them shits got, I mean, they're fire. I'm wearing, but like
literally,
you know what I'm saying? But like, it's like things get like when we view things as like commodities or like signifiers of like who we are in a society, then it's like you're not thinking about it as art, which is, does it move me? Do I like it? So I think that's the thesis of this rant, is like, just
nah, it's well said though. I'm glad that you brought it up, because honestly, it's where people kind of separate just something that's trendy as opposed to something that really moves you, you know?
Yeah, man, that shit is weird.
But before I let you get out of here, I have to show the people something that really moved me. This is a Halal Guys Marlon Craft t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Why Halal Guys? Is it just because you're from the city, or?
Yeah, well, first of all, flex on them, because if you take it out,
put me on.
it got the.
I'm mad there's not chicken and rice in here, by the way.
That's all right. We got you. But we got the menu.
Oh snap!
Actually, the album credits.
You got Nick Caution on that joint. You got out here Dizzy Wright.
You know what I mean?
That is fired.
So that's the vibes. But yeah, man. I mean, Halal Guys is just like a New York staple. And so it's some OD New York shit, but not only that, I just felt like when you look at what they did with their brand, it was so dope, because it's like it started as one halal cart. But the shit was just dope. It was quality, so people fucked with it, and it was some New York shit that was like small, homegrown, and then because it was so ill, it just grew, and now it's a global brand. Them shits are literally all over the world, but they still retain the same like New York quality from when they started. And I feel like for me, like in my career, it's like a lot of people just saw me as like this New York underground cat, and they're like, can he be like, you know, can he really expand and whatever? And like this album is the beginning of me really like making that statement of like, nah, I'm an artist and I'm here to like spread my shit to the world. So I thought it was a cool marriage, and also like, you know, when the idea was proposed, I was just like, hell yeah, this is some free chicken and rice. I'm with the shits.
Yeah, nah, that's amazing. I love the merch. Are you going on a tour, by the way, soon? Can we expect that?
Yeah, so we just announced yesterday we doing the first run of show dates. It's called the Fuck It We Out run, because like I was trying to wait around for some support tour, or I don't know what I was waiting for, but I don't be waiting, so I'm out, bro. Fuck it. I want to go see these fans. So we're doing we sold out SOBs a couple weeks ago. We're going to do DC, Boston, Toronto, and Chicago. And then and that's in September. So tickets go on sale Friday, marloncraft.com, and then we're gonna announce the West Coast dates soon.
Awesome. And people could buy the merch on the tour?
Yeah, not this though. This was exclusive. Official Tish had to be there, or you have to be Hip Hop Mike. You feel me? That's
I know the vibes.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me, man. I hope you have a blast on tour. Is this the first tour that you're doing?
Nah, I did. I went out on a small headline run for the Tunnel Zen, and then I went out with my homie Dizzy Wright last year. But I feel like this is gonna be different. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I hope you enjoy yourself, man. Be safe and use protection.
Yeah, I got a girl.
Oh, all right. Boom.
Don't get me in trouble.
That is your protection. Listen, you know what it is. Hot 97, Marlon Craft in the building. Hip Hop Mike here. Nobody is getting this shirt off me.
Hey.
Till next time.
Yes, sir.